But first, sadly, we have to start with absolutely heartbreaking news. And this came yesterday about Liverpool player Diogo Jota, who died in a car crash in Spain alongside his brother, Andre Silva. Diogo was 28 years of age. He passed away just 11 days after marrying his wife and his childhood sweetheart, Ruta, mum to his 3 children. There have been tributes paid across the world, many people commenting on just how quickly life can change in just one horrible moment, and just, well, how tough, and I have never experienced it, I have to say, but that sudden grief, which, and I imagine if you haven't experienced it, is very difficult to think about, but different, I would think, Jane, from something that you know is coming.
I mean, I'm very glad to say I haven't experienced it either, but obviously as a journalist, I've interviewed so many people that have been in that situation, and you obviously go into people's houses and talk to them at these very terrible times, and there is a stark difference, because if you know, so say, I mean, listen, no situation, no death is ever, you just don't want it at all, but people who know that someone is dying, so they have a terminal diagnosis, the relationship suddenly becomes really intense, because you're thinking, OK, they're not going to be around forever. You don't take them for granted, their presence for granted. So you have all these really intense conversations. You get everything out that you ever want to say to them in your lifetime together. With a sudden death, people just, they're like, but I never got to say this, I never got to say that. Or worse still, if their last conversation with them was either a bit snippy or just something really mundane. So I just, you know, I mean, his poor wife, 2 weeks ago, they got married.
Well, his mum's lost 2 boys.
Well, that's what I was just about to say. 3 young children, and his mother has lost both of her children, literally just. And yeah, I mean, just terrible story. And I mean, I know I've cleared it with you, Oti, to talk about this, but because we talked about it quite a bit. But your brother Nio, who at the age of 16 took his own life. I mean, the effect it had on your family.
I mean, the effects are huge. We've had both, I would say, types of death. With my grandma, she was diagnosed with dementia. So for her, it was a 2-year journey for us, for the entire family. And you have, like you said, conversations that are leaning towards the end. But that time that you also have with her takes a toll on you, because you see this person get worse and worse and worse every time you see them, and that has an effect on you. And with my brother, I think with my family, it's still very much a sensitive subject in our family. We celebrate him, we have conversations where we're like, well, if we had a brother, maybe we wouldn't have married those boys, you know? Maybe we would marry different boys.
You were, what, 2?
I was only 2, so my connection to him isn't as intense as it is for my sister Mutsi and Pamela, because they were 11 and 9. But I think it's more obvious in my mom, because she lost a son. She lost someone, her firstborn. Talking about it is still difficult. I think she still blames herself as well. And she wishes she would have had certain conversations with him. She wishes she could have helped. She wishes, and I think that's what she's left with, that wish. I wish I could have done more. And that's what that sudden kind of passing does, because it takes that time away. So I think both ways of grieving is really, really tough, and it leaves family distraught.
Was it utterly out of the blue, Oti?
It was. It really was out of the blue, because my mom was with my 2 sisters, and then we got that phone call that, like, Nell is not waking up. I'm trying to wake it. It was from my dad. My dad went home, and he was like, he's not waking up. And they took him to the hospital, and by the time they got to the hospital, there was nothing they could do, because they'd taken his own life.
It's that phone call. So when you say the words, it's that phone call that is, you know, that's the dreaded thing. I mean, I have now turned into my own mother. Every time I used to phone her, she'd go, what is it, what is it, what is it? And you go, oh, with youth, you would go, don't be silly. And now I am that person, which is no way to live, I don't suppose, is it?
No, you can't live in anticipation of something terrible happening, because it steals you of, like, the present.
Yeah.
But it is really hard, and I think, as you, like you say, when you're younger and you have this, like, naivety about life and you feel like you're invincible and everyone you know is invincible, it doesn't cross your mind. But I can see myself as I get older feeling more worried for people I love. I think of worst-case scenarios more often. Like, I'm like you, I'm very grateful and thankful to not have had that kind of call, but I did have a call of my best childhood friend, who I'm still best friends with now, was in a massive car accident. And when the call came through, she was being airlifted to hospital, and they just did not know it was bad. Like, she had broke both her legs, her pelvis. Like, it was really bad. It was could have gone either way. And I just remember, like, I'll remember that phone call for the rest of my life. And thank goodness she made a full recovery. But I was literally in a shopping centre in some random town. It was like a really slow Saturday morning. I was like mooching around with one of my ex-boyfriends, and it's like, this call came through, and I just remember everything. The whole world just stopped moving. It's such a memory that you take with you forever after you get one of those type of phone calls.
Yeah, and it does change you, and as you say, Oti, it will have changed your family forever.
Yeah, it stays with you, and I feel like the way of life that you live certainly is different. Like you say, your world is tilted, and it's tilted forever.
Yeah. Well, our thoughts are obviously with Diogo and Andre's family and their loved ones who will be going through an incredibly tough time. There are always places to turn to for support, and you can find them on the website itv.com/helplines.